This is the day the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice. Sunday morning, here we are, coming together from near and far. We're unity, home for you and for me. I've got family waiting for me. Every Sunday I'm glad to see. We're unity, home for you and for me. I'm so happy it's Sunday. This is our very own Unity Day. We're here where we belong with all of our family. We're Unity, a home for you and for me. Sun's shining and I am too. I feel so happy, how about you? We're unity, a home for you and for me. We're so grateful that love surrounds brothers and sisters all around. We're unity, a home for you and for me. I'm so happy it's Sunday. It's our very own Unity Day. We're here where we belong with all of our family. We're unity, a home for you and for me. We're unity, a home for you and me.
What a rousing, great song. Thank you, Jim. I pressed it. There we go. Rousing, great song. And a rousing group here to greet you, Jim. For all of those who might be watching online, we welcome you to Unity of London. All those different colors on the welcome sign are representative of us greeting everybody from all walks of life, all faiths, all inclinations, and we love and welcome them all. Even when there we go. We celebrate abundance at Unity of London. Abundance in money, abundance in talent, abundance in divine spirit within, abundance of love for sure. And we're open to new ideas. Those of you who were here a few weeks ago know that we have a brand new, it's not all brand new, but we have 2 brand new Unity of London board members, and they are already sharing with us some new ideas. We welcome those. Change can be a little difficult, but it's not always sad. Change can open us up to brand new adventures, a new way of living, a new way of interacting. And we know that. We're here to mutually support. Whether you're here in person or whether you're online, whether you're in London, Ontario, or Manitoulin, or Florida, or Unity, Saskatchewan, we are still supporting you, just so you know. And through our connection, we transform. We connect with each other, and sometimes we learn, and we think, oh, I didn't even think of that. And we transform through learning. And all the time we're evolving peacefully. We do have 5 basic Unity principles, and they're up there on the screen. And I invite you, if you feel comfortable, it's so nice to see 2 children here. Yay! Welcome, children. 3. Bienvenidos. Uno, dos, tres, infantes. And bienvenidos, Noemi, always. Because you brought the children. Thank you. Gracias. Muchas gracias. So the first unity principle, God is all good and active in everything, everywhere. Everywhere. You can be on the road traveling, God is traveling with you. Number 2, I am naturally good because God's divinity is within me and in everyone. Number 3, I create my experiences by what I choose to think and what I feel and believe. Number 4, through affirmative prayer and meditation, I connect with and bring out the good in my life. And number 5, I do my best by living the truth I know. I make a difference. Sometimes you might forget that. You make a difference. I'd like you to just put your hand on your heart and say, with all sincerity and spiritual faith, I make a difference. And being the change is being open to change, embracing it, realizing that it gives us chances to inspire other people to make a positive difference in the world. How we are with change is how we can inspire others. And those are positive changes. Here at Unity of London, we believe in training, teaching, educating, growing, coexisting with love and with laughter. And we sure did that yesterday in the prayer chaplain training. Lots of laughter, lots of growing. And we welcome back our own Jim Chapman for his music. Yay, Jim.
Thank you very much. Don't clap till you've heard the song. I had 2 songs picked out for this week, and I thought about them a lot because I do try to make them fit in with what's happening in the world and in unity. And Friday morning, I woke up and went, no, that's wrong. That's not what you need to do today. You need to do this song over here. And it was one that I wrote quite a while ago. I'm not sure I've even played it here, but that's the one you need to do. Now, this is the 4th Sunday of Lent, I believe. Yes, 4th? And it has a name, a Latin name, which I've now forgotten. I used to know it, but anybody know the Latin name for the 4th Sunday? Lay it. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference. Anyway, the reason that I was thinking about this was Thursday night I'd gone in and I looked at Lent and I looked at, just to remind me what it was all about and how it fits in with our teachings here. And it seemed to me that, and there are a lot of messages to Lent, but the one that really resonated with me was kind of reconnecting with God, reconnecting with the God in all of us and in our lives and reminding ourselves how important that is. So, anyway, said I was all ready to go on it. And can I say Spirit moved? Sure, I can say that. Spirit moved me. Spirit moved me and said, don't do that song, do this song. So I hope this resonates with you a little bit. Oh, put your glasses on, Jim, for heaven's sake. Who are you trying to kid? I can't see anything. Oh, there we go. That's better. I've brought Spirit in my life. Spirit lives in me. You can sing along if you want. I've brought Spirit in my life. Spirit lives in me. I've brought Spirit into my life. Spirit lives in me. Spirit lives in me. I was lost and all alone, and then I found unity. I was lost and all alone, then I found unity.
identity. I found unity. Unity is now my home wherever I may roam. Unity is now my home wherever I may roam. Unity is now my home wherever I may roam. Unity's my home. I want you to take my hand and follow me through the happy times ahead. Won't you take my hand and follow me to happy times ahead? Oh, take my hand and follow me to happy times ahead. Come and take my hand. Together we are strong. Together we are strong. Together we are strong. Well, I tell you, I've got spirit in my life. Spirit lives in me. Oh, I've got spirit in my life. Spirit lives in me. Whoa, I've got spirit in my life. Spirit lives in me. Spirit lives in me. You know that spirit lives in me.
Oh my. Excitement. Thank you, Jim. You create it and you bring it and you generate it, and we're very grateful for that. We have a prayer box, and our dear Don Briglio clears that box once a month, sends all the names to all of our prayer chaplains, and we send positive energy out to all the names that are on that list. So I invite you to write your name on the paper, and we will have more special prayer forms printed this week. They will be on the table by next week. Right now, if there's no form, just put the name on the little empty paper that's there. You can also call Silent Unity. There's no charge. Nobody sees your face, but they hear your voice. And that is 1-800-NOW-PRAY. They have been operating for more than 130 years. By operating, I mean facilitating positive feelings in the hearts of all those who pray. You can pray for any reason. The person answering the phone will have a nice, calm voice, and they will say, "How can I pray with you?" They have invested their time in doing only this. So you don't have to worry that they're going to rush off and say, "Oh, sorry, I have to go do some other work." They are there for you. And you can call more than once a day, by the way. You might get different people on the other end. So please take advantage of that. And I urge our prayer chaplains in training to take advantage, because you get to hear a different person pray with you. Today our prayer chaplains are Dawn and Wilda online. And if you would like to pray with Wilda online, you tap into your chat on your phone, and then please mute it right away if it's not already muted. And our dear Dawn will be in the prayer chaplain room, which is up the orange steps or right here, if you prefer to pray with her here. Speaking of prayer, I invite you, if you feel comfortable, to close your eyes right now. To breathe in all the love and the positive energy in this room. As we breathe in loving, positive energy, filled with faith, encircled with love, powerful, more powerful than all the violence in the world. We affirm that in times of stress or anxiety, we have within us all the tools we need, all the spiritual reservoir of powers, all there for us to draw upon as we release negativity, as we release anxiety, as we release hustle, bustle, worry. We clear space. And into that space can flow the love, the faith, the wisdom. We can, as we talked about yesterday, clear our mind of black negative thinking and replace it with bright, shiny, positive optimism. We do that now. We hold in prayer today all those who may be suffering in the world, those who have not enough food, those who are homeless, those who are cold, those who are lonely or frightened or worried. And we send out to all those people our positive love, generating a positive flow of energy that is stronger, way stronger than anything we can imagine. I invite you to whisper the names of those close to your hearts. We also include in our prayer our two travelers embarking on their adventure pretty soon. That's Sophie and Larry. And they are going with all of our love. Well, not all of it. I mean, we keep some, but with a lot of our love. So, for all these prayers, we say amen. And it's my pleasure to invite up our dear not our Wendy, not yet, our dear Dawn, who will be introducing Wendy, who's on Zoom. So Wendy will be introducing and imagining that she is shaking the hand and hugging dear Wendy.
Today's daily word is entitled Forgive. My soft heart expresses love as I forgive. Holding on to hurt caused by someone's words or actions is harmful to mental, physical, and emotional health. If I stew over these negative feelings, it's like I will just feel worse. It is when I am willing to let go of these troubling emotions that the healing begins. Forgiveness is healing. Realizing the slight may have been unintentional, or that the one who hurt me may be unaware of the pain. I feel the compassion. I let go by repeating the words, I forgive you, silently to myself, which helps me speak these words aloud when I am able. If I caused unintentional harm, I ask for forgiveness. Through divine love, I forgive and am forgiven. As I express this love, I mend feelings and open the way to pray to peace and harmony. Do not judge and do not, and oh my goodness, I can't read this morning. Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. So it says in the book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 37. Now, Wendy joined Unity in 1984 and received her licensed Unity teacher status in 2000. Oh my goodness, Wendy, I was never very good at math, but that's a long time, 25 years. Wendy has been a facilitator of Unity's courses for over 20 years. We know the truth of how many, eh? Honored to be made adjunct faculty at Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute the winter of 2024. Wendy's Sunday lessons bring an eclectic mix of Unity knowledge, scriptural references, and life experiences. We are honored to have her back with us today, bringing us the message entitled Journeying Through Lent. Help me welcome our dear sweet Wendy Karr.
Thanks, Dawn. So I'm not with you because my home ministry is having its AGM after service, so I will be jumping off this call and jumping onto that one. So congratulations to the new board members at Unity in London. I was thrilled to see who was coming on, and that it sounds like you got an awesome team, and I can't wait to see what happens next. So Lent. Since I can't see you all, I grew up with Lent. That was in my church of origin. And I recognize some of you may have grown up with Lent. Some of you may not have grown up with Lent. Some of you may not have grown up with any kind of religious or spiritual experience. And that's fine. You're all welcome here. But I saw this post and I went, yeah, that really is what Lent is about. It's a very introverted kind of observation. Or observance. It involved, okay, I might have clicked too many times here. Let's see. There we go. So traditionally, it was 40 days, not including the Sundays. So on the calendar, it's 46 days between Ash Wednesday and then Palm Sunday and into Holy Week, and it ends Thursday evening when we have the story of Jesus going into Gethsemane, and we have the Friday and the Saturday technically are part of Lent because it finishes with Easter, but it's this time traditionally of giving up, of doing penance, of basically doing kind of a cleansing, but not necessarily in the most positive of ways in my books. As a child, I'm sorry, giving up chocolate, that was hard. That was really hard. I may still have some trauma around that. I don't know, but that was something that I was raised with. And please don't go after my parents because I was the one that chose which church we went to. So I created this path for myself. So I want to talk about it from a European/North American format. Because I've recognized that there are variations that show up in Africa, in Asia, in other parts of the world, in South America. But just taking that as a traditional way. And there were things like, and even as recently as 2017, my dad's hometown in Wisconsin, good luck finding anything but fish on Sunday in certain parts of the city. The very Catholic parts of the city, you ate fish. To this day, my dad had enough fish during Lent and other holy days that it was difficult. So I saw this and I said to him, well, would this have helped? And he said, gee, I wished our priest would have told us that because the Sundays in Lent don't count. So how do we get into this, and how is it, I don't want to say popular, but certainly it's observed extensively. So we have a couple things at play here. First of all, we have that um, traditional theology that when you die, you're going to go someplace for all eternity. So if there are two places, and Unity does not believe in that, by the way, we believe that heaven and the place called hell are states of consciousness. You may find, I'm not sure about Unity of London, but I know in my home ministry, I would say almost a majority, might be a slim majority, tend to believe in reincarnation, not in a one-off and that you're someplace else for all eternity. That's actually another Sunday talk, but let's talk about this. So if you are illiterate and you are living on subsistence farming, spring is a difficult time. Whatever animals you have slaughtered and prepared to get you through the winter, probably you've eaten all of that, or you've had to give it away in taxes or payments to your landowner or things like that. And I'm sure George and Barb would agree that the harvest isn't ready yet. Not sure if the lands are even ready for plowing. In my area, a lot of the plowing lands still look like lakes. There's still a lot of a belted snow that has become water that hasn't yet soaked into the ground or evaporated. So if you're in a space like that, having your church say, okay, to be a good Christian, you need to fast a portion of the next 40 days. You can eat what you want on Sunday, but the next 40 days you need to fast. Well, if you're almost, living off of the bare essentials anyway, gee, that's a kind of an easy way to align yourself with this set of beliefs that you will be a good person, that you will get to go to heaven. And I question that because and I have been doing some research into Lent outside of Unity, just how traditionally it was done. In my church of origin, it was very much about giving up things that you loved. It was about praying more. It was about potentially doing some volunteer service. It was about making sure that you confessed all your sins and told, at least one person how awful a person you were. For me, that's pretty toxic. But, and for some folks, that really works. For some folks, that's what they need on their spiritual path. And I have a lot of family that are in that space, and blessings to them. They are happy where they are. They are infilled where they are. I just know it doesn't work for me personally. Something in me says, no, that's not the path that I want. So let's talk about what Unity has to say, because Unity does produce a Lenten booklet every year. And every year I'm always amazed at how well it fits in with where things are at in my life. So this year, it's called In the Garden. And our co-founder, Charles, said, Lent is a season of spiritual growth, a time for progressive unfoldment. And this year, we're talking about one of the harder parts of the story, I think. The time that Jesus is in Gethsemane praying between the Last Supper and the time of his arrest. And a lot of the time, we kind of overlook that because there's a lot of stuff in there we don't want to look at, or I sure don't want to look at. The issues around, you know, the basic story, if you haven't read it, is that Jesus goes to pray because he knows that having sent Judas away to do what he needs to do, he's about to be betrayed. And he goes to pray. Well, that's kind of a thing Jesus has done according to the Gospels throughout his ministry. He goes away alone or with a few trusted friends to pray. And while he's praying, he has this moment of, you know what? I really don't want to do what's coming. This is really hard to take. We very much see his humanity in this moment. And a lot of folks don't like to think of Jesus as being human. They like Jesus, the divine part. They don't really like that that possibility that Jesus might have had some human aspects to him. And yet, earlier in the week, we had the scene where he was in the temple and he was amongst the money changers. And according to some, the way some stories have been translated, he was flipping tables and causing quite a ruckus and being very angry and showing very much his human self. Now, this month is about wisdom. So I am guided by divine wisdom in every thought, word, and action. And thinking about the story of Jesus in Gethsemane, I realized that really there was an expression of wisdom there. He has the wisdom to know that something's about to happen and he needs to pray himself up. That's a phrase you might hear in Unity. The idea that you go into prayer so that you are in that space, so that it becomes more of a natural reaction or response to a situation. I know I look back on my life, and once I really kind of got into truly being on a spiritual path, not just dipping my toe in the water every so often, that prayer became my first response. Whether it was calling Silent Unity or emailing Silent Unity or texting my prayer partner and saying, hey, I need some prayer. And perhaps I was in a space where I couldn't talk at the moment. I might have been at work or driving or something like that. But just to say, could you hold space for me? Can you hold some prayer space for me? So Jesus did that in words. He was honest and in integrity with what he was feeling. There was a part of him that knew that the Romans and the Jewish elite were about to go after him. You might say he could see the writing on the wall. And so he was taking that time to prepare himself to be in a good space for that, to be in alignment, to be willing to say, you know what, I need to kind of struggle with this. I need to get clarity in myself about being willing to do that which is mine to do. And I really love that, you know, in the translation it says, not my will, but thine be done. And I wonder if any of you have had a situation where you felt like something needs to be done, but there's a part of you that says, no, I don't want to go there. I don't want to do that. Perhaps it's having to go for a medical test that you're concerned about. Perhaps it's that you're about to move across the country or a significant distance across the country. And there might be, regardless of how exciting and wonderful this trip is going to be and this new life, there might be a little bit of you that's going, oh, but I'm going to miss my friends. Oh, but I don't know what's ahead of us. It might be that you don't know where, you know, the next part of your life is going. Perhaps there's been a change in your employment or your relationships. But knowing that need to go through and have some time of thinking about what's bothering you, thinking about the concerns you have, thinking about the things that are holding you back, or that you just need to process. I've been in Unity, as Dawn mentioned, I've been in Unity over 40 years. And one of the things I've noticed, and I say this about myself, so I'm not casting aspersions on all of you, I'm casting them on myself. I was really good until recently about hiding my shadow self, about hiding my pain, about hiding whatever was going on in my life that was not truly positive, and putting on a brave face and stiff upper lip and all of those wonderful things, and pretending like it was all okay when the truth of the matter was my life was falling apart in ways. And that's one of the things I see in Jesus in Gethsemane. He's very aware that he needs to process what's going to happen next and prepare himself. In action, he continues to pray. When he wakes up and sees that the 3 disciples he chose to come with him have fallen asleep, he's kind of a little ticked, But I think at some level, it's kind of reinforcing his human side. It's kind of reinforcing, and this week's readings actually are around Jesus forgiving his friends for their inability to stay awake. So it's about releasing. And I realize that's not this month's power. Wisdom is. But we can use powers together. We're not limited to, oh, it's the month of wisdom, so we can only use wisdom. No, we're in a space where we can use all 12 of the divine abilities that we have. And for those of you who are watching later or who are visiting for the first time, let me just take a little side trip here. So our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, felt that spiritual principles were too big to be taught in one lump sum. So I want you to think of a big round of cheese, you know, those huge things of cheese, and they have to split it open and make it into smaller pieces. And his way of doing that was to form 12 powers. And there's a whole bunch about it. It's a course unto itself. But the idea was that we recognize these powers within us. And as I remind you every time I mention the 12 powers, his wife, our other co-founder, Myrtle, wasn't too keen on his idea. She was very big into oneness. So we have the two sets of the spectrum here, husband and wife, no less. So let me just come back to my lesson now and I release anything and everything that no longer serves my unfolding good. What Jesus realized was that he needed to let go of his ego. He needed to let go of being in control of what was going to happen to him. He needed to allow things to unfold as they did because there was a bigger picture at play. There was a bigger picture that would influence, certainly European and North American culture for over 2,000 years. That's a long time. Now, I realize there are other cultures that have been around longer and that have influenced us as well. But right now, in our current politics, I would submit to you that Christianity is pretty influential in North America, or at least south of us. And so being aware of what it is that we've gone through, what it is we need to go through, is very important. And it's so important, and I'm sure I've said this before, I'm sure I've even showed this next slide before, because to me it's so huge. In a Walt Disney short, I forget how long it is, called Donald in Math Magic Land, it is available on YouTube in a variety of formats. And there's a point, it's after the billiards game, where the narrator says to Donald that we're going to play some games in the mind. We're going to imagine. He doesn't say imagine, but we're going to, and then we go through Donald's eyes into his brain and we see that it's filled with antiquated ideas and bumbling and false concepts and superstitions and a magic broom, probably stolen from Fantasia's, the Sorcerer's Apprentice, comes in and sweeps up, and all of these pages go magically into the drawer, and the drawer is clean, and everything looks, spick and span and ready for something new. And that's what we talk about in unity. We talk about release in that way, that it is a way not of berating ourselves or judging ourselves, but rather to do a mental sweeping out of old beliefs, societal expectations, and ideas and thoughts which no longer serve. And that to me is what Jesus was doing in the garden. He was going through and saying, okay, my human side has to step aside for a while. I need to be more fully in my spiritual self as I go through this. And I'm sure all of you have had a moment where you have felt that. Even if you weren't consciously saying, I need to be spiritual about it, there might have been a time when you had to say, okay, I got to be strong for this. I'm going into a job interview, or I'm about to go on a first date with someone, and I think I like them, but I'm not really sure. Things like that. Those things where we kind of draw on ourselves, and we might think it's our human self, but in reality, it's our spiritual self. So our release, how do we release? How do we gently sweep these away? Make statements that can make your head and heart go, yes, I can let this go. and whatever I release will bless me. So it might be that you take a moment and think about your childhood and some of the things you were taught as a child. Because let's face it, as children, we don't really have the same filters we do as adults. We receive information from adults who we trust, who we expect to be, thinking of the best for us. And it may be that they were doing the best they could in their moment. But it might be that, you know what? I'm going to let go of that thought, that belief, that teaching that I'm lazy and accept that I just learn differently. And what other people see as lazy is actually a coping mechanism I developed to deal with the fact that I was being taught in a school that didn't give me an opportunity to learn in the method that was best suited for my learning style. That's just an example. But we move into that. And I invite you to do it gently. There may be some forgiveness work required. There may be some forgiveness work around yourself for allowing that thought to be part of you for too long. As we embrace forgiveness, we restore harmony within ourselves that radiates into the world around us. And I truly believe that's what Jesus did after he left Gethsemane. He was in that space of being so aware of what he had to do next and of allowing himself to move into that space. And even though we're not told that he did forgiveness work, we know that he did it while he was on the cross on Good Friday. He's reported to have said, "Father, forgive them, they know not what they are doing." So it's part of this big package deal. I love this definition of hope. Helping other possibilities emerge. I'm sure Jesus was hopeful that whatever was to come next, that he could survive it, that perhaps it didn't have to be to the death, that perhaps there was a different way. It doesn't appear there was. But for us, I think sometimes we take this idea of crucifixion, metaphysical, metaphorical, a little too seriously. That there's a belief that if we're not in pain and suffering, that somehow we're not doing something right. And I invite you to let go of that as we move through our Lenten period. And I saw this a while ago, and it popped back into my Facebook feed, and I went, oh, yeah. My new word, blessing. It's when you're able to view painful lessons as blessings. In other words, a blessing is what happens when you see the blessing in the lesson that your challenge taught you. I've had quite a few blessings in my life. I'm open to more, but I have requested that the universe not deliver them with a 2x4 because I've had a few of those and I'm done. That's crossed off my bucket list. No more 2x4 blessings. So with that, I invite you to consider going to unitycanada.org and downloading the booklet and continuing where we're at. The statements this year are all about releasing things that hold us back. And I find it interesting. More recently, a lot of the Lenten booklets have actually gone into my bookcase instead of into my box of Unity pamphlets to review later. I actually have it where I can find it and reuse it because sometimes the language is just so perfect for us, for me on a particular day, that I need to reread that lesson. And that's what I have to say about Lent, and thank you for listening. And now let's just do a little wiggle as we prepare for our time of meditation. And we'll start with our March affirmations. And if you haven't been to Silent Unity, this is what Silent Unity looks like. This is what Unity Village looks like. The tower and the building immediately under it are both historically registered on the National Historical Register. So just taking a moment to breathe in We have 5 affirmations. And let us just breathe in to a calm space. No matter what we have done this week, that's in the past, whatever needs to be carried forward will wait for us to come back. And whatever is ours to do going forward can wait for us. We can choose to be in this now moment. And just breathing in, we take into our mind and heart our affirmation for inner peace. I claim divine peace in this now moment. And just take a moment to breathe these words in. For wisdom, I claim divine wisdom to know the way forward. For health, I claim divine strength, health, and vitality in every moment. For strength, I claim the courage of divine strength. And for world harmony, I claim divine love to spread harmony throughout the world. And let us just take a moment and allow these affirmations to rest in our heart and our mind, in the balance of our thinking and feeling. And so it is, and it is so. Amen. Thank you for having me again today. Happy Easter to you. I won't see you till after Easter, so may you have an abundance of blessings. May you have great time with family and friends, and I look forward to seeing you next month.
Oh. Thank you so much, Wendy. Thank you, Wendy. And they're all clapping, and some people were holding their hearts. So your message has always touched us, and all of your references to Jesus as our way shower really brought back, for many of us, memories of how much we can learn by reviewing what Jesus did in those last weeks before his death. Thank you very much for sharing. And you're with us in heart and spirit. And now we call back up our dear Jim Chapman.
Every week at Unity, we hear the phrase, unity is founded on prayer. And I was thinking about that earlier this week. And I was reminded of an old song that we used to sing at the church in which I was raised. And as I was thinking about it, I realized that I had misunderstood what the song meant all these years. I remember clearly singing it when I was just a little kid, because we went every Sunday morning and evening, and there was lots of singing and lots of the wonderful old hymns, many of which now the language of them, it doesn't really fit with, I won't say with modern life, but with, I think, some of the things, for speaking for myself, some of the things that I've come to learn, that the language maybe doesn't express that entirely the way I want. But for me, those old songs still, they hold a particular magic to them because of what they meant in my life and in my spiritual development. And Wednesday night we did a tune, we did the Old Rugged Cross, because part of our concert was a new, premiering a new CD, a gospel CD. And those who've been to the concerts know that at the end I like to do a song where everybody can sing along, and just the way things worked out, here we were at the end of it, and our guest was here, and he's got 2 songs left, and I said, can we do this one? Can we do this for the last song? And it was the Old Rugged Cross. Now, the lyrics to that are pretty archaic today, and they express some things that I'm not comfortable with, but I thought, you know, it's not specifically about the words, it's about the meaning, the general meaning. And this is kind of the same thing. I think this song is kind of the same thing. But it's, as I said, I was wrong about what it meant. The song is standing in need of prayer. And I thought for 60 years or more, I thought that meant that I'm standing there asking God for a blessing. Can I please have a blessing? I'm standing in the need of prayer. And I've come to realize over the last little while, particularly because I've been coming to unity, that's not what it's all about at all. The song is saying that I'm in need of prayer. I have to recognize that. I have to know that. And Wendy was talking about that too. You have to recognize and know. You have to seek that strength within. So with that in mind, here's that wonderful old tune. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Well, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not my father, not my mother, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not my sister, nor my brother, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Well, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Well, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not the butcher or the baker, but it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not the doctor or the undertaker, Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Well, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Well, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. There are days when I live in a twilight haze, standing in the need of prayer. Help me through the night, show me which way's right, standing in the need of prayer. Well, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need. Here we go now. Well, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Well, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Everybody sing a beat. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Well, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Thank you. What a great crowd today.
Thank you very much, Jim. And you might have noticed that Lindsay came back in with our three children. and I thank Lindsay for taking the children to have some children activities in the children's ministry room. So we bless and affirm our children. We see the light of God shining as you. There's a little bit more to it, but it's been so long since we've had children that I've forgotten the rest of it. We have opportunities at Unity of London to give so much, to volunteer our time and our talent and a little bit of our money. And that all goes to help Unity be stronger, to help our building have any renovations it needs, to help us pay our bills, but also to help us build a community that expands beyond the doors. that expands beyond the walls. And if that is your vision, what are you prepared to do to help make that come to fruition? Just something for you to consider. We all have chances. We all have opportunities to grow. And you all bring unique talents. And you might have been overlooking some of your talents. They may not be on the platform. They're somewhere, and we'll help you to find them. So we now share our prosperity blessing. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And thanks to Kate and Renee, who are sharing their talents and collecting and putting it back in the safe. We have some announcements, and you notice this bright announcement board, thanks to Lorraine. Wednesday music nights. I came last Wednesday thanks to Nancy, who offered to give me a ride, and it was fun. I'd forgotten how much fun it was to be in the presence of live musicians. And Ken Thorne and Chet Rizzer, who is such an amazing musician. I hear the name and I just feel excitement because he puts his whole heart and soul into the music. With songs of the Rolling Stones, if you're a Rolling Stones fan, come on out. If, like me, you remember Teen Idol chart toppers from the 50s, and I won't start to name them all, then you'll probably come on out. Jim and the Rhythm Rascals. Does that name not make you think, whoa, this should be fun? $10 at the door, and it is fun. And Jim moved the time back so it starts at 7:30, ends at 9, and the time goes very quickly, so you can arrive here in the daylight. Thanks, Jim. Now, I made a special request because we know that Lorraine Reinen is offering her condo. But I also found out through Lorraine that Chris Reinen, her dearly beloved husband, has some special techniques so that I'm going to call him up to explain it. Come on up, Chris. Nice round of applause for Chris. Thank you, Chris. So if you come up just a little bit closer so they can see you online. Yeah, and then you just face all those smiley faces.
Okay, selling tickets to the condo lottery is very important this year. I think the church is probably on the borderline for funds every year, so this goes a long way to support Unity of London. So I sell all my tickets sitting at my kitchen table. I do it through my cell phone, and what I did before the service today is I went around to, I think, about 5 of you and got your cell numbers and forwarded you the way I do it. So I think after the service, when we go to the fellowship room, I'm going to go around and collect some phone numbers and send you the information. And it's really easy. If you have a cell phone and you have friends that have cell phones, you just send them the note, a picture of the ticket book, and your email address where they can forward either $25 or $50 or $100. And then you write their names on the stubs, cut off the ticket part of it, and send a picture back to them. It sounds like a lot of work, but it really isn't. I sold over, I think, 2.5 books the other night in really no time. It didn't take hardly any time. So after the service, I'm going to be going around collecting some phone numbers and sending out the information.
Nice round of applause to Chris for this great idea. Thank you, Chris. So if you have an aversion to going up to somebody and saying, I have a super, this is a great, great deal, and then explaining what a super deal it was, and thinking, What if they say no? You don't have to look them in the face. You just do what Chris suggested. And thanks again to Lorraine and Chris for their generosity. Now we repeat our positive assertion about the light of God. This is very powerful, and I urge you, if you have moments during any time, during the day, the evening, if you get a little anxious, just repeat this. Very powerful. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love. The power of God protects me. I am the power. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Yea, God. And before we do our final song, we stand and we hold hands. So if anybody's new today or you're not familiar, we do that because it reminds ourselves that we're all part of a community. Following the song, if anybody has any thoughts, Wendy won't be online, so she can't hear what you say. But in the fellowship, we're going to be celebrating and just saying hi and bye with excitement to Sylvia and Larry. So please join us in the fellowship room after.